there's been big moves. Washington spending all that money on Collins, but Washington is once again a quarterback-less adrift franchise without any real direction. They're not going to win the NFC East. The big moves that we've seen thus far have been for lesser teams. Now, the Jaguars were bad last year in a win-loss tally. But we know that the whole thing just kind of fell apart because early in the season, they had their mojo. They smashed the Patriots to smithereens. And then Bortles started playing poorly. And they didn't know what they could get out of Leonard Fournette. And the defense kind of had too much pressure put on its shoulders and started to melt down. And then the immaturity reared its ugly head, and the Jaguar season spiraled down the drain. But Nick Foles might fix all of that. And I hesitate to go too far on one player that doesn't play on the defensive side of the football where the strength of the Jaguars is. But the Jaguars might, with this move, have become a top 3 or 4 team in the AFC right there. Just one move. Now, I realize the hesitancy to assume or expect Nick Foles to be Philly Nick Foles anywhere else. Look, maybe he was just a product of the perfect coach in Doug Peterson and the perfect offense and the perfect group of guys around him, and maybe you can never recreate Nick Foles Philly. Philly Nick Foles might never be recreated. You've graduated college. Senior year was awesome. You partied, you dated, you had fun, you smoked a little weed, you went out to the bars, you blew off class, and you're like, this was the best. And then 5 years later, you go back to college. You're like, this is going to be great. My buddies are going back to campus. Let's go back. Let's have a night out. Let's have a weekend there. Let's go catch a game. And you look around. You're like, this is not. Wait, where's the magic? It's fine, but it's not the same. And that might be Nick Foles. Philly Nick Foles might be senior year college. Might be senior year high school. You're like with all your friends you grew up with. You had this amazing boyfriend or girlfriend. You finally had freedom in your life. You were crushing all of your classes. You had the most amazing senior summer ever. And senior year high school was the best moment of your life. And then you went back for the 10-year reunion and you're like, it's not nearly as fun. I remember it a different way. Maybe Nick Foles is senior in high school Nick Foles. But I'm just saying this. What derailed the Jaguars last year? Because the Jaguars came into the season as Super Bowl contenders and began the season beating the Giants and then walloping the New England Patriots. And we said, here they go again. The quarterback. Blake Bortles imploded. Blake Bortles was a nightmare, and there was too much pressure put on not having Leonard Fournette in there, having lost those wide receivers, and then put the pressure on the defense. And the defense wasn't mature enough, I think, or sturdy enough to keep it all together. But what happens if Nick Foles walks into that locker room and is the Nick Foles in Philadelphia? By that, I mean settles the waters, comes in, executes the offense the way it's supposed to be executed. He's got John DeFilippo there, who was there in Philadelphia when he won the Super Bowl. They've got an expectation on offense, and here's Nick Foles. Because the best thing that the Eagles teammates and coaches loved about Nick Foles was, with the offense, there was a game plan, and he executed it. If you were where you were supposed to be, you were getting the football where it was supposed to be, at the time you were supposed to be. He wasn't favoring one guy. He wasn't breaking out of script. He was executing the offense. And the defense had an expectation, okay, see, he's getting it done. We'll get it done. We're all on the same page. And when push comes to shove at the end of a game, he'll make the throw. We can trust him. And He's not taking any credit. He's got no ego. And he's passing around praise. If he does that in Jacksonville, it is a solution to almost every problem they have. Now, look, Leonard Fournette has to be a consistent running back. You can't get by unless you have some semblance of production from Leonard Fournette. But I think Nick Foles can save the Jaguars. I really do. I think he can save the Jaguars. And I understand why Philadelphia bet on Carson Wentz. Because, again, Philly, Nick Foles might just be senior year college. It might have just been a moment in time. But there's a distinct possibility Carson Wentz never wins a Super Bowl there and never has the type of good vibe, good feel that Foles had in those 2 playoff runs. You know, you get married, you have your wedding, and your wedding is this amazing group and gathering of people that you love in your life, and you as a groom or you as a bride looks absolutely beautiful. You've spent all this money on a dress or on a suit, on a haircut, on makeup, on jewelry, and you just look stunning and unbelievable and amazing, and all these people are around, and you go, this is the rest of my life. And then 10 years later, you look around and you go, the wedding's not quite the marriage. Well, maybe Nick Foles is wedding night, but maybe Nick Foles is everything that the Jaguars don't have. I love it. I love it. I love that the Jags got it done, and I love that he's got DiFilippo there. And if that team gets competent quarterbacking, they're once again a contender.